Hey everyone, welcome to Clickheads. I'm Eddie the Chump, and today we're going to be talking about the new buffed Vandal in comparison with the Phantom, and how the new movement mechanics will affect your accuracy, as it's these two parts of the patch that will affect your matches the most outside of some of the agent changes that we've already covered previously in the patch video. I'm sure a lot of you will want to know if the Vandal is now the go-to gun in Valorant after the huge 0.5 patch, so let's start there. Just a quick refresher of what's changed. The Vandal got its horizontal recoil reduced by 15% while crouched and stationary, and its recovery time after shooting was reduced from 0.4 seconds to 0.375, and its tap efficiency went from a value of 4 to 6. These changes are not insignificant, especially the horizontal recoil, which Riot also noted was supposed to be the case already, but wasn't, giving the other rifles an advantage in that respect. The change I think that could make the biggest difference to, say, a player who preferred the Phantom on the previous patch is this recoil change, which you absolutely will notice in-game, especially when spraying, which in my mind was where the Phantom had the clear advantage previously. It still has some advantages even after the patch, but we'll get into those in a moment. Yes, the Vandal is easier to spray with in 0.5, but the clear design goal for this weapon is to tap, burst, and only spray in emergencies. The Vandal, thanks to its faster gun recovery time in 0.5 and better tapping accuracy, is even better at that job than it was before. But being honest, was it even bad before? The answer is no. I've had very few occasions, if any, with the old Vandal where I thought it wasn't accurate enough for tapping. The gun is buffed in several ways, most of which are aimed at encouraging you to use the gun the way the devs want you to, with precision and controlled fire, but ask yourself, if you were already a Vandal user, isn't that how you try to use it anyway? At least now, you have better spray for a gun that you're not meant to be spraying with, I guess. Let's take a look at the new Phantom quickly. Riot fixed an issue where the gun recovery time was higher than intended, which is massive actually. Perhaps players' tendencies to spray with this weapon more often than not was because the recoil reset was simply too slow. If you look at how big the change is, going from 0.55 to 0.35 seconds, you can begin to understand the scale of the improvement. It actually resets faster than the Vandal post-patch, which I can tell you with confidence I really felt that adjustment in-game. Before, against multiple targets, I would try and spray transfer as best I could. Now, I stop shooting and reacquire. It's made a huge difference. This change alone has made the Phantom significantly better in my opinion, and being honest, has led me to be even further in the Phantom squad than I was beforehand. Even with the recoil changes to the Vandal, the Phantom is just better at spraying as it fires faster and has more ammo, but it's now even better at tapping and bursting too in comparison to its old version. The tap efficiency of the Phantom has been elevated to the old Vandal stat of 4, which I thought, and have said in this video already, was perfectly usable, and I'm struggling to be convinced otherwise. Just as a final bit of unapologetic and shameless pro-Phantom propaganda, I'd like to comment a bit on why, despite all Riot's efforts, the idea of fire control versus spray is still in the latter's favour in my opinion. Most gunfights in Valorant don't happen exactly as either party planned. That is to say, you don't always have the exact info on where your opponent is. As such, quite often, a peek into somewhere you think an enemy might be ends up being a 50-50. There are almost infinite factors that go into this, like cover, how late or early the peak is into a round, utility, etc. But I think the main reason why spray is still strong is because of the tagging mechanic. Having improved base accuracy stats, better recoil, recovering, and tapping values is all nice, but because of tagging, when you choose to peek, you are quite often committed even if you'd like to stay mobile and tap and burst your way to success, because if anyone hits you even once, your character slows down a huge amount. In that situation, when you're committed anyway, irrespective of your desire to have the right firing control, having the weapon that can kill faster in a spray is desirable, particularly if it's up to medium range. This doesn't factor in headshot insta-kills, obviously, and for that the Vandal is clearly superior. But I think the reason most top-level players are Phantom users is because of how strong tagging is. If you get tagged and can't really move, you have to win the gunfight in front of you, and in many ways, the Phantom is simply more reliable, even after patch 0.5. You could argue, with its improved recoil, recovery, and tapping values in the new patch, the Phantom raced further ahead. Your experience may vary. Like I said in my original Vandal vs Phantom video, if you do prefer the Vandal, that's for a variety of reasons that are all still true. better first bullet accuracy, headshot insta-kills, etc. But unless tagging is changed, I won't be swapping even after this patch. Let's now talk about the movement mechanics. To preface this, you need to internalize that all rifles have been nerfed while walking and shooting. Their base accuracy has gone up from 0.6 degrees to a factor of 0.8. That is small, but you will notice it. So too will you notice the following changes. You will no longer enter the walking accuracy state when transitioning from run to stop. And the dead zone accuracy speed threshold has been increased from 25% to 30%. I said in my patch note video that essentially they've removed the auto walk transition from coming to a stop, but made what counts as a full stop ever so slightly more tolerant. That increased tolerance won't cover the old walking accuracy transition benefit, but it won't be as strict as perhaps some other games are. This means that actually learning to counter-strafe will give you more direct benefits than it used to, compared to just pressing shift to stop or letting go of your movement keys. Players from CS will already be doing this, but for some of you it will take adjustment. The good news is, all of the main rifles have had their recoil recovery improved, as we've noted, some quite significantly, so moving from burst to burst should now feel crispier if you get your movement right, as the reset time is shorter. This is where Riot want to take the game, much closer to the skill gap present in say Counter-Strike, and I think it's exactly where the game needs to go. I still have my concerns about the strength of tagging and how that affects the viability of this strafe, burst, or tap playstyle, but at least now the movement and gun mechanics can support it better. And that's about it for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video and found the info useful. If you like the content on this channel, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you get notified when we upload. Until next time!